I asked my viewers for their best Sonic hot takes, and we are going to rapid fire through a bunch of them, starting off with Major As Mulch, who says that Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is better than Sonic 1. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is widely regarded as one of the worst reviewed Sonic games, while Sonic 1991 is a fundamental classic. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric allows you to play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy in a 3D environment with hub worlds and open environments versus Sonic 1, which is strictly 2D, linear, and only has 6 levels. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric has a ton of glitches and bugs, but is much bigger and bolder, while Sonic 1 is completely polished but can be beaten in under an hour. Considering all that, I will agree with your hot take. Liqua Fusion says, I think Sonic Adventure 2's story is poorly constructed and full of plot holes. The movie did a much better job in story-wise than the game. Sonic Adventure 2's story is very complex, with Shadow's creation and the events that lead to Maria and the Space Colony arc. Certainly there are some plot holes, such as how does Shadow with amnesia suddenly remember everything in one dramatic moment, or why does the military not discover or disable this catastrophic weapon in the 50 years that they supposedly controlled the Space Colony arc. Sonic Adventure 2 is generally regarded as one of the best Sonic games according to reviewers and the Sonic community, so I will disagree with your hot take. HaNJ7SZ says, Sonic is too fast, I mean like stupidly fast. Sonic is meant to be the fastest thing alive, so of course he should move fast. He can easily break the sound barrier and in some cases reach the speed of light. Certainly in the first Sonic game they had to slow him down because testers got motion sickness, but eventually you get used to Sonic's in-game speed. It's so much fun to blast through levels at extreme speed, so I disagree with your hot take. Cosmic MC says Sonic Lost World is one of the best Sonic games and it gets too much hate. Sonic Lost World is one of the most divisive 3D Sonic games. It took big risks, changed up the formula, and ended up pleasing some Sonic fans and frustrating other ones. On the plus side, it has an innovative level design with gravity-defying platforms which lead to more freedom of movement and Sonic's ability to run on walls. Sonic also has a good sense of speed control. But on the negative side, the game has very unpolished controls with levels that feel a lot like filler or have frustrating gimmicks. Combat is shallow, the Deadly Six are weak villains, and Wisps are poorly implemented. So considering all that, I will disagree with your hot take. Sonic Fam R90 says City Escape is the best stage in Sonic. I absolutely love City Escape. It's fast-paced and represents Sonic's 2000s attitude perfectly. The music is nicely tuned to the level aesthetic, the level is full of details and has just the right amount of challenges and obstacles, so I completely agree with your hot take. Boyfan Joda says Sonic 2006 is goated. Sonic 2006 is known for its bugs and sometimes questionable story, but it does seem that the bugs are a bit over-exaggerated. The game is basically Sonic Adventure 3 with multiple playable character campaigns and a very complex story. The music is fire and nearly every song is amazing. It does have really good graphics and follows the adventure level design with some very unique levels such as Crisis City, Kingdom Valley, and Radical Train. So I completely agree with your hot take. The Gold Blur 3.0 says Sonic Forces has a top 5 OST. Sonic Forces does have some rather unique songs such as Fist Bump, Sunset Heights, or Arsenal Pyramid, but it does seem like the game tries to blend multiple genres of electronic rock and orchestral, which can feel disjointed. Vocal tracks feel a bit out of place, it overuses electronic dance music and has a lack of melodies that can get stuck in your head, so I disagree with your hot take. Sonic Respinded said Sonic never had a rough transition to 3D and the boost gameplay is better than momentum gameplay. Many Sonic fans often call Sonic's transition to 3D rough because of the cancelled Sonic Extreme game along with the low-poly Saturn Sonic design from Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic the Fighters. But Sonic Adventure came out and revolutionized Sonic's 3D gameplay, which was met with a lot of success. As for boost gameplay being better, it just feels more like Sonic because he's always meant to be fast. So I completely agree with your hot take. Splack the Hedgehog says Sonic Advance 2 is the best 2D Sonic game and Sonic Advance 3 is overrated and worse than Sonic 4 Episode 2. Sonic Advance 2 is level design that is built around momentum and speed, which can sometimes feel too fast. It can be difficult at times and has some tough boss fights, but at the same time it is great music, level design is extremely forgiving, and has a fun story. As for Sonic 4 being better than Sonic Advance 3, Sonic 4 does have a retro-inspired 2.5D Sonic with modern physics, but modern Sonic is in 2D, which just feels kind of strange. Advance 3 is mostly solid with very momentum-based controls, so I will disagree with you on your hot take. Clone Sonic 12 says Bingo Highway, Power Plant, Mystique Mountain, and Pyramid Cave are all underrated stages. Each of those levels are rarely mentioned in the Sonic community yet are very iconic and enjoyed Sonic levels. Each of those levels has escalating tension and pacing. They have a cohesive level theme and visual design along with the music that just seems to fit those levels very well, so I completely agree with your hot take. Scott is Cool 21 says Marble Zone is underrated. Sonic 1991 only has 6 stages, and when thinking about the game, most everyone talks about Green Hill Zone and Labyrinth Zone, so the other 4 levels are rarely talked about. out. After the fast and breezy Green Hill Zone, Marble Zone slows things down a lot. It does have frustrating hazards and poor momentum use, but it has a lot more moving platforms, switch puzzles, and hidden routes and secret item boxes. The ancient ruins and lava aesthetic is memorable and distinctive, so I will agree with your hot take. Jax1991 says, I somehow enjoy the night stages more than the day stages in Sonic Unleashed. The day stages have high speed boost gameplay similar to Sonic Rush and Sonic Colors. It is great for speedrunners, visually stunning, and has great music. The night stages have more deep exploration and platforming. It offers a great variety of platforming, puzzles, and combat, though it does feel a bit long and repetitive, but the gameplay just feels so slow and boring, so I would disagree with your hot take. Super Plush Television says Sonic R is pretty fun, you just have to master the controls and level layouts. Sonic R has some awkward controls as the characters can sometimes handle a bit like shopping carts. The game only has 5 racing tracks and feels a bit rushed, however, it is a very unique racing concept with full control of 3D movement. It has a great soundtrack with a lot of shortcuts, secret paths, and collectibles, and so I completely agree with your hot take. The one and only Blue Blur says Sonic Prime was not that good of a show as people thought it was. The show got mixed to positive reception with some standout strengths but also some weak spots. The show has a repetitive plot loop such as a new world, new twist, fight Eggman, and do it again. Side characters got sidelined and there was some serious pacing issues. However, it has high quality animation work with lots of insane action scenes and amazing voiceover work. Sonic is also portrayed as overconfident but well-meaning, and his character arc is about learning accountability. So I will completely disagree with your hot take. Reverse Speed Official says one of my hot takes is that Ugly Sonic is one of the best things to happen in Sonic history because it shows us how bad Sonic can be and what can happen when people listen to the fans. The whole Ugly Sonic situation is a mess. It reminds me of the new Coke stunt from 1985. It's such a good thing that Paramount listened to the fans and actually fixed movie Sonic's design. This single-handedly saved the Sonic movie franchise and in all honesty likely saved the Sonic game franchise as well because the movie's success led to the games being more successful, so I completely agree with your hot take. GRD Greeny says, I believe Sonic Colors was more detrimental to the series than Sonic 2006. Sonic Colors redefined the boost gameplay with a more streamlined style. It has a very lighthearted story with fun writing and colorful visuals, but it has a repetitive level structure, constant back and forth with 2D and 3D, and the wisps just suck, as it seems that the wisps just slow things down a bit more than it really should. But most Sonic fans are always trashing Sonic 2006 due to its glitches and bugs. There's so much more anger directed towards Sonic 2006 than there ever is for Sonic Colors, so I disagree with your hot take. Luckify11 says Sonic Forces is kinda underrated and not as bad as they claim it to be, and Sonic Frontiers is barely overrated and fun at times but still not that good. Sonic Forces is really short game because it was a budget game and rushed. It does seem a bit underrated because it is an extremely short game, but I do think that the overall story of the game is pretty decent. As for Sonic Frontiers, it has a good concept for the open world design, but its ideas could have been more fleshed out, so I agree with your hot take. Sonic Extra 1991 says, personally, I don't think Sonic needs couples right now. I feel like it would cause too much outlash if they made the wrong couple choice. It always feels like everyone is trying to ship Sonic and Amy, Sonic and Shadow, Knuckles and Rouge, and Silver and Blaze, just to name a few. Sonic does not show any interest in Amy, and most other characters do not show any mutual interest in each other. Ships would just get in the way of the Sonic games, plus no matter what Sega does, it will still anger many Sonic fans, so I completely agree with your hot take. Shadow N88 has quite a few, but I will just pick the one that says, I don't think Labyrinth Zone is that bad. I still think it's a terrible stage, but not as bad as many people set it out to be. Most Sonic fans and critics argue that Sonic 1991 Labyrinth Zone is one of the worst zones in the game and possibly one of the most frustrating levels in classic Sonic's history. The level is extremely hard due to the underwater physics and constant threat of drowning. It has a very bad level layout with many spikes and tight corners as well as no clear direction. The music is very eerie and the level just has a weird look to it, so I disagree with your hot take. And lastly, from Boy How Talks, Sonic Frontiers is probably the best 3D Sonic game. Sonic Frontiers is a very ambitious Sonic game due to its open world format, but it has very repetitive open zone tasks such as similar puzzles and reused assets. You are forced to do almost the exact same task in each of the 5 islands, and it has limited replayability. However, the bold new structure of Open Zone is not just open world but platform and playgrounds. It gives Sonic the freedom of movement without forcing him to be in a constrained boosting tunnel gameplay. There's a bold sense of adventure, a very complex combat system which has many different attack moves, and the ability for Sonic to be leveled up with his unique skill tree, respect for momentum, and you have grasslands, desert, and even a volcano. There's very unique weather patterns and even incredible soundtrack. Sonic Frontiers is certainly a candidate to be one of the best 3D Sonic games, so I completely agree with your hot take. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and remember, you gotta go fast.